Welcome to the Social Workers radio talk show on WCDB Albany 90.9 FM with co-host Dr. Eric Hardiman and Alyssa Lotmore. Here at the Social Workers, we address issues important to our communities with social work students, alumni, and community partners as our guests.
As part of the University at Albany School of Social Welfare, we hope to take social work beyond the classroom and agency settings and directly to the public, because the public is the client. Catch us on air, online, and anytime.
Welcome to the Social Workers here on WCDB Albany. My name is Eric Hardiman, and I'm your co-host with Alyssa Lotmore. Welcome back, Alyssa.
Hey, Eric. I can't believe it's another academic year, and we are now under the College of Integrated Health Sciences. We have some new faculty members, but today we're also going to be talking to a faculty member who's been here about 2 years, but hasn't been on the show yet.
Yeah, it's actually, how's your semester starting off, Alyssa? Good?
It's going pretty good. It's chugging along.
Yeah, so we've already had one show. We had on Vicki Rizzo and Aaron Bell from the College of Integrated Health Sciences, and that was a great episode. And today we have another great episode. We'll have lots more episodes this whole academic year, even though, our sort of format may change here and there, but we're still going to keep going with the social workers, and it's going to be a good year, right?
It is. It is. We usually when we have a new faculty member, we have them on right away. So our guest today has been here at UAlbany for 2 years. Yeah. And between my maternity leave and other things, we have delayed this interview, but we are so welcome Eric, you welcome our guest.
Yeah, I'm so excited today to welcome our special guest, Dr. Cheng Ren. Dr. Ren is an assistant professor in the School of Social Welfare, which is now housed under the College of Integrated Health Sciences here at the University at Albany. And Dr. Ren comes to us from the University of California at Berkeley and is a superb researcher, superb teacher. We're thrilled to have him on the faculty, and really looking forward to this conversation today, particularly because he's also affiliated with and I'm going to get the specific name here wrong. Alyssa, you might want to help me with the Institute on Artificial Intelligence. Is that
they call
proper
AI
term?
Plus.
AI Plus, yes.
AI Plus. Okay, great. Yeah, which is our university center that organizes and houses all of the research we have doing around the university that addresses artificial intelligence. So it's a really timely conversation. So first of all, Cheng, Dr. Ren, welcome to the Social Workers.
Thank you. Thank you.
And I'd like to start off as Eric said, we have this AI Plus initiative, and I still don't. I'd love for you to explain that to not only me, but also our listeners. What is UAlbany doing with this AI Institute, and how is AI connected to social work?
Yeah. What is AI Plus? Yeah, all these questions. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for the question. It's a great honor for me to join this radio. So for UAlbany, like based on the name, it's called AI Plus. So we have like a big idea, say, hey, now we have like AI tools, but like how can we integrate it with those kind of field traditionally do not really intensively use AI. So it's called AI Plus. It's a very diverse background of the institute. Like we have traditional computer science, like math, engineering, environment, those kind of area already use AI intensively in the past. We also have faculties from like education, psychology, sociology, like in public health, social work. Those kind of social science field traditionally may not intensively use AI, but now we try to create some kind of possibilities or explore some kind of potentials how AI can be used in this field. And also it's a really good environment for us to connect with other people. Typically in those kind of big institute like universities, people or faculties may not really have opportunities to connect with other faculties,
Yeah.
especially we are in downtown and they were in uptown. And so this institute really provide a good opportunity for us to get together and talk about some kind of like funding opportunities or collaboration opportunities,
Mm,
and also seek any potentials for collaborate together, since nowadays more and more social issues become very, very complicated, and we
yeah.
try to use various of expertise to tackle that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, before we even get into some of the conversation, some of the questions I want to ask about artificial intelligence or AI in general,
Hmm.
some of those questions about, is this a good thing for society? Is it something we should embrace? Is it something we should embrace, but a little skeptically and cautiously and carefully, or should
Uh-huh.
we fear it? Is this something that we should really be afraid of and try to avoid? Before we even get into any of those questions, I would love to hear kind of how did you originally get interested in AI and how,
Yeah.
you were getting your degree in social work. And like you said, social work may not be a field that immediately we think of AI. So
Hmm.
what was it about AI that got you intrigued and how did you first get involved with it?
Yeah, so this is a really good question, and to be honest, it's pretty hard to like answer. It's a
Okay.
tough one, but a little bit background about myself is I was trained in the PhD of social work at UC Berkeley, but at UC Berkeley we also got opportunities to um, like have we call it's like a minor for PhD students, but we call designated emphasis. And
Okay.
I picked the data science. That's kind of the opportunity for me as a social work student at that moment, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, and start together um, computer science training, and also getting, since we are kind of required to take courses like at the computer science, or
Mm.
I even took like high performance computing. I don't know like why I took that, but that's kind of required courses for me at that moment. And I literally exposed a lot for the data science. And at that moment AI is not really like Howard's. Like at that moment, maybe we still use like a machine learning. Or
Mm.
then later, around 2022, I guess, when OpenAI have the ChatGPT online, and people
Yeah.
start to kind of stick to the terminology or the words AI, although people do not really deeply understand or the specific definition about AI. AI is a like very broad idea.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if academically they are like slightly different by definition, like machine learning
Mm.
AI, but for the general public, I believe people pretty much regard those kind of very similar things for us. And um, back to the question whether it's a good thing or bad thing, I said it's a tough question, but uh, we've already see some kind of very positive change about AI. It
Mm.
did increase some kind of like, let's say, make some kind of work pretty much like efficient. Uh, for example. Mm, for example, we have, if you have a pretty long paper, if you ask AI to summarize for you, it's pretty much you can get it done in pretty like a second. And I also saw, I don't know for the majority, but I also saw some kind of people start to use AI to replace Google, although sometimes
Mm.
AI do not really that accurate, to be honest. But
Mm.
people start to use AI to to replace Google, like those kind of functions for searching and get a result
Mhm.
kind of customized for them. Also, in my own teaching, I'm teaching statistics,
Okay.
and for statistics nowadays, we also need to learn a software to use, like
Okay.
kind of like uh, statistical software to use, which is kind of like programming. Uh, And when I teach statistics, I also encourage students to use AI. Like we have a new term called vibe coding, which like under the
Mm,
assistant of AI, you can finish the programming even without any kind of background. We literally have
interesting.
example is we are really interested in the PubMed abstract.
Mm,
And we have a research assistant, literally have like a no strong background of coding, but finish that on the system of AI can web scrape. Web scrape means like you can get those kind of abstract from PubMed under some kind of a standard. So which is a
yeah.
good change. Um, we also have a lot of like quote bad or some kind of very controversial side like copyright.
Mm,
I just read on the New York Times like how they work with those kind of AI companies
hmm.
about the copyright things, how people um, worry about like this is the copyright, this is the label of us, and how AI just like get that and for the training, and also the trust and the accuracy.
Yes.
It's
Yeah.
also pretty obvious in academia. I start now professors start to worry about like whether this homework was written by the students or written by the AI,
Right.
right?
Right. It's a big concern. Yeah.
Yeah, and uh, this is also about the integrity. So there's like good things, bad things. It's always like two sides, and I
Mm,
think the
mm.
point is how we can use this AI and critically, and mostly how should we include the human in the decision process.
Yeah, it seems like just listening to you, I mean, it sounds like you are, I don't want to, put a label on it, but it sounds like you are very much in support of the idea of using artificial intelligence, but also I hear you urging some caution and that there are some bad uses of it and there are some things we might want to be careful about with it. Um, that but I also hear, historically, it seems like we're just at the very beginning of this
Yes.
this phenomenon, right? We're only a couple years into the sort of widely publicly available chat gpt and other types of open ai kind of options for folks. So in my own mind, I think, well, what's it going to be like 5 years from now? It's going to be radically different than it is right now. um, so not asking you to predict the future, but there's some scariness, not quite knowing where this is heading. Will it replace traditional educators? Will it replace traditional systems? And how do we figure out what the human element is? Lots of questions there.
Good question. Good question. Future is always pretty hard to predict, to be honest, especially nowadays. Uh, I like when I go to college, like no one really think like computer science will become the trends for the future.
Yeah,
Now, later computer science is the trends of the future. But nowadays, when you look back, even for recent years, like computer science students also become the group like pretty hard to find a job recently, especially for the new graduate, right? So
right.
it's just pretty fast, like come and go pretty fast. So it's pretty hard to predict 5 years from now. But one of the trends I kind of believe is for for junior staff, like
Okay.
for if some kind of work is repeatedly doing this again and again, that could be very likely partially or replaced by the AI. I think that's
Mm,
possible. But the work that I need to like communicate with people, or the work that's very like need like creative ideas, that would be very difficult. Like think about nowadays, especially for social work, like in the clinical side, the mental health, we
hmm.
definitely saw some kind of trends uh, on those kind of online tours, like how to do some kind of mental health consultation or some
Yes.
kind of
Yeah.
help. And uh, it's a tricky question, like whether some kind of mental health consultant will be replaced by the AI or not. Um, the point is people enjoy like communicate with human and
Mm, mm,
to share with those kind of ideas. But on the other side, what if a place with pretty low accessibilities of the mental health services, maybe
right,
AI could be an option, right?
right.
Uh, but in those kind of case, there are also some kind of risks over there. The recent news about someone's suicide,
Correct.
and
Yeah.
people realized that kids communicate with AI before. Um, so it's it's hard to say like who will be replaced or not.
Mm, yeah.
Even some kind of work. AI can not really make the final decisions or take the responsibilities of the thought they made. Like you have no one there's like no accountabilities. Like you cannot really blame AI, say, hey, you
Yeah.
did this, you need to take this responsibilities.
Mhm.
So but 5 years from now, one trend I would say AI could be a very important role in our daily life. Uh the one of the moments I realized maybe I personally from my personal life, it's not scientific. It's like a surrounding samples from my my grandmother recently is close to 80
Okay.
and uh, her whole life is in living in a like rural area in China, and
Okay.
my mom told me recently she started to use smartphone. Like before, it's not like a traditional phone, not really smartphone. Now she started to use smartphone since
At
the
the age of
trend,
80. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
since the trend is everyone use like the mobile the mobile phone pay and since and when she going to sell something, people typically do not really take cash. So
Mm,
if she would like to charge something like some kind of vegetables she sold to other people, she need a smartphone to receive the money.
to get the money, right?
Yeah, to
Yeah.
get the money. And I think that's a very interesting change. Like you don't know when it's a moment like people try to get used to this
Mm,
trend.
yeah.
But definitely more and more people start to use AI, and this is pretty much the trends. It's hard to say which job will be replaced, but
Right.
I think on the I'm to be honest, I'm kind of like optimistic for this side is
Okay.
um under the system of AI, people start to make some kind of repeated work to the AI and doing
Mm,
something we believe it's more valuable as a human being.
okay. So I feel like we are, just to reintroduce who we're speaking with here, we're talking with Dr. Cheng Ren from the School of Social Welfare at the University at Albany, who studies artificial intelligence and uses eviction data. We want to talk about your work
Mhm.
around housing and evictions. But I feel like we are very fortunate here at the university, and particularly in the School of Social Welfare, to have you guiding our students through some of this brand new learning, trying to
Yeah.
figure out what are the pitfalls, what are the opportunities, what are the contours of how we use artificial intelligence. And so it's I think of our students, and I think our students are really fortunate to have you guiding them through new territory. So, can you tell us about your work with evictions and sort of what's the connection between AI and folks who are getting evicted?
Yeah, yeah. So this is a really good question, and for housing issues, it's kind of like a long-term topic I'm really interested in from my master.
Okay.
Um, maybe like around 10 years ago. But at that moment, most of people concentrate on the foreclosure crisis. But when I moved to California, the Bay Area, I realized that most people take the just rent out properties instead of own a property. You know the cost of
Okay.
living in the Bay Area. And
Very expensive. Yeah.
yeah, so uh, but they sometimes have a very similar consequence, like we have no place to live for some kind of reasons. And at that moment, mm, I met my PI, a principal investor at UC Berkeley, Tim Thomas,
Hmm.
and he finished his dissertation at University of Washington in King County, like doing some kind of eviction research in King County, and we realized for the West Coast, especially the state of Washington and California, we do
Hmm.
not really have a data set talking about eviction. So, I mean, they have a data set. Like at that moment, it's pretty difficult to answer very simple question. I say, in this census tract, how many people get evicted?
So just basic descriptive questions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 4 to 5 years ago, we even cannot really answer those kind of questions. The
Okay.
problem is we have those kind of code files, but it's all photocopy. It's not digitalized data set. So
Ah.
if you need to like do some kind of like counters of like how many people get evicted in this, what you need to do is go to each file, find the name of the people, maybe the defendant name of the people, the plaintiff of the mostly landlord, and the place this eviction happened. And you need to geocode. Geocode means you convert this address into latitude and longitude, right? And once you have the latitude and longitude, you can merge with the census tract. So finally, you can count how many people get evicted in this neighborhood, in the census tract, in this
Ah.
county. So
Okay.
that's a tons of work. And we are thinking about whether it's possible the the computer can do this since it's a kind of repeat work. The
Right.
format of the summers or the format is kind of based on the um, the law firm, each law firm have their own different kind of format when they submit to the court. So, but they're pretty much similar, and we are
Okay.
thinking about whether it's possible we can use computer to read the first page of the summons, identify the name of the plaintiff defendant is most importantly where is the address this eviction happened or this eviction filing happened exactly since it's not really the result, it's the filing. So um, at that moment we explored many kind of options and we use at we use machine learning to
Okay.
like we labeled around maybe 5 or 10 those kind of examples tell the computer, hey, this is the content and this is the location. So AI kind of learn the the layout of the
I
summons
see.
and also the
Yeah.
content of the summons. So pretty much when you give the file to the computer can learn those kind of patterns and um, finally it's around like 3,000 cases for each year and we processed around maybe like 300K 3,000, yeah, 30K, maybe 30K in the past 10 years in one county in
Okay.
Washington.
Okay.
And for the California case, we pretty much use a very similar method, but the layout is totally different. We collaborate with Rand Institute, and they collect data from sheriff. So sheriff is also a pretty uh, like key role in the eviction process.
Right.
They have those kind of data, but due to some kind of policies, if the people do not really finally get evicted, they need to redact, like they need to protect the privacy of those kind of people. So once
Okay.
we have the list, you will see some kind of very interesting patterns. Before it's like a very nice spreadsheet, but you will see some kind of black
Yeah.
markers to cover the information.
Redaction. Yeah.
Yeah. So which if we use traditional way to recognize this as a whole table, the 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 those kind of method do not really work since those kind of
Sure.
reductions broken the patterns of the table. The algorithms cannot really recognize that. So yeah, we use a very similar way. We use machine learning to recognize and create. I think for California, I forgot the exact numbers of the total counties, maybe 59 counties or 58.
Sounds right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we build the first database with
Okay.
individual level eviction, uh, the people who got evicted and processed by the sheriff. And I think 54 out of 58. Uh, so we
So,
also
so
use, yeah, go ahead.
So would it be safe to say then that you're using through your work, through your own research, you are using machine learning and artificial intelligence to um, sort of make more efficient these uses of large data sets
Yes.
so that we can better understand patterns of eviction and where are evictions happening most and which counties and what types of evictions. And that I think what I hear you saying is that I don't want to put words in your mouth, but I think I hear you saying that artificial intelligence can help us better manage those data sets and better
Yeah.
learn from them rather than having them just sit there and not get used, right?
Exactly, exactly. Those kind of data over there, like we just do not really have a like human labor to doing those kind of
The
works.
human labor would take so long to do
Yeah,
those and outright to do that work. Interesting.
I mean,
yeah,
so many times we talk about, will AI replace the humans? But sometimes it's, we don't have the capacity, the workers, the people to
Yeah,
do that kind of labor right now, whether it's going through data and things like that. And now we can use AI to actually get information and knowledge about something, a data
yeah.
set that we might not have had to been able to do because we didn't have the humans to do that work.
yeah.
So now that you're here, Cheng, now that you're here in New York State and you've been here 2 years and you're working with students at the University of
Mhm.
Albany and you're sharing these ideas with them and inspiring them, and I would assume learning from them too about their interests. What sort of plans do you have? Where will your research go from here, and what will its impact be? Do you maybe anticipate in New York State?
Yeah, yeah, really good question. I just started a pretty small project, and I'm really interested in the eviction crisis in the Albany area. And I
Okay.
know a UAlbany graduate, currently a professor at Siena College, CCI, is doing the project with United Tenants of Albany together.
Yep.
So
Hmm.
I joined them and I try to provide some kind of support on that project. So we are really interested in mm, if we aggregate those kind of cases, they request like assistance from United Tenants of Albany.
Mm.
We try to aggregate into the into council district. So like which council and how they are like a vote behavior, something like that. But we do not really have, let's say the some kind of um, community level data or council level
Mm.
data. It's not
Mm. Mm.
originally collected
Right.
by the census. So currently I'm working on that is I try to help them re-aggregate those kind of data and to try to collect the data from the census tract and make it fit to the con council district. Is it here called a council district at Albany? Like, so some
We
kind of
don't
word.
call we don't I don't think we use that terminology, but
Yeah.
I think you're talking about like municipal um divisions and sort of lines, right? Like districting.
Yeah, they have a representative for at the city.
Yeah, yeah. We usually do that at the county level, I
Uh-huh.
believe. Although, yeah, it's a good question. I'm not
Oh yeah, the county level, right, right.
yeah.
Yeah. So we are collaborating on that. Try to use my experience in those kind of quantitative analysis
Sure.
to assist or try to get some observations how evictions impact like a vote result or
Interesting.
something like that. I also got a small funding from AI Plus Institute recently, and
Okay.
what I mentioned before is, you know, yeah, for like a radar image, and it's very it's very com com I'll say computing intensive. Like we need much more power to to extract the information from those kind of
Mm,
images accurately.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, we need to use cloud computing a little bit.
Okay.
And the new project is I would like to make it more accessible to the general public, since you may have like PDF files from the police report, which Stanford did in California, and you may also have tons of PDF files from different kind of government. You can request by the open data movement, like the policy, like
Yes.
and And once you have those kind of PDF files, how are you going to handle that? So
Mm,
uh, I try to create a pipeline how to use those open sources software and
interesting.
integrate it with large language model. So before it's kind of very professional, you need to write Python code to train the model. Now,
Yeah.
is that possible? We can use those kind of open source tools and use the PDF files and just build a pipeline. You just simply ask, where's the distress of eviction? So it's like a chatbot you did with ChatGPT, but it can help you to process those kind of data
Mm,
uh, just in a pipe, I would say in a pipeline or maybe at a scale. So you
yeah.
think about if you are using ChatGPT, you may need to ask where the place of location, and then you ask ChatGPT again and again to process like say, 100
Right.
files. So
Right.
I try to build a pipeline with the only open sources platform and a
Interesting. Okay.
small large language model. When I say small large language model, which means the language model can be applied on a local machine. You don't need to like
I
use
see.
a high performance machine
Right.
and still scale those kind of process to build your own data set or use on other files you can collect or historical files you can collect.
So it sounds like you are really trying to work toward, better access to large data systems,
Mhm.
democratizing some of that process, making sure that local, municipal, county, and state levels are using the data systems that they have, and that your use of AI can be really pioneering in sort of making those processes more efficient, as I said, but also, like Alyssa just said, sort of some of the labor wasn't getting done. There's data that there are data just sitting there, and so your work can really show us the way, I think, toward making the most of data so that we have policy, we have practice decisions, we have societal decisions that are being driven by data rather than by sort of other other means. Yeah.
Yeah, some kind of by science. I personally I feel pretty much reward provide those kind of infrastructures. Like when we prepare the data for California, some other scholars use those kind of data to build some kind of research and
Mm,
investigate whether the crime-free policy impact in some kind of municipalities in California, and they realize that it's only increase evictions, but do not really decrease the crime
interesting.
rate.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we need to wrap up here, but this has been a great conversation, Dr. Ren. We've been talking with Dr. Cheng Ren from the School of Social Welfare here at the University of Albany, who really is doing incredible work. And I think we've only touched the tip of the iceberg here with this conversation. I think there's a lot more Um, and hopefully we can have you back in the future and talk about where this is heading and kind of maybe make this a regular thing, because I think everybody in society is, if they're not talking about and grappling with the notion of artificial intelligence, that's a missed opportunity. It's here, and we need to learn how to have the conversations. We need to learn how to use it ethically, morally. We need to maximize, the good things and sort of avoid the dangers. But I see the work you're doing, and particularly the work you're doing in your research and with students, as being really groundbreaking. So thank you for that.
Oh, my pleasure. One last thing I want to mention is I think it's a really good combination for AI and the social work. Since one mostly I'm talking about today is how AI has been applied to boost the social work research. But on the
Mm,
other side, for social workers, it's really important, like what is the ethical decisions that AI made. We still need
yes.
the human beings. I hate to say judgment, but those kind of values to
Yeah.
like how we
Yeah.
can impact AI and what is the AI that fit on our needs in the future.
Right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you
Alyssa, were
so
you?
much. No, I just want to say thank you. I still find it hard to really grasp what AI is. So at least I have a little bit of a better understanding of how it can be used in a positive way and as a learning tool and to help with research, not
Yeah.
replace individuals, but to really help get the data we need in an organized fashion that can make a positive influence in the community.
Yeah. And impact policy and impact,
Yes.
issues like housing and issues like equity, related to housing and who gets housing and who gets evicted, and those kinds of, if we have data that can help us drive those policy decisions and we're not using those data, that's really problematic. And so maybe AI is the way of the future in that regard. So thank you again for talking with us, Dr. Ren. And, we look forward to hearing more about your success here at the University of Albany. And it's been great having you on, the social workers, and we hope you'll come back.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So you've been listening to the social workers on WCDB Albany 90.9 FM on your radio dial. And also you can always stream us at WCDBFM.com. There are also other places you can find our podcast episodes, our podcast version of this show. So this is a live radio talk show, but we also turn it into a podcast. So Alyssa, can you give listeners some idea about how, if they maybe don't use the radio as much, but they prefer podcasts and their phones and laptops, how can they listen?
You can find us wherever you usually find your podcasts. Um, on your iPhone, just go to one of your podcast apps. We're usually there. If you want to find us on our website too, we are at the Social Workers Radio Talk Show.simplecast.com. So yeah, you can find us there too.
Right. So if you use podcast search engines, if you use podcast app, whatever you use, if you search for the Social Workers Radio Talk Show, you'll find us. And we have lots more episodes. We also have lots of archival episodes folks can listen to. And we appreciate all of our listeners and the community here in the capital region of New York and beyond. So thanks again, Dr. Ren, and best of luck as the school year starts.
Thank you.